learn about these different cultures? And have there been, have you learned by doing and maybe some faux pas along the way? I mean, it seems like there's a lot to learn and a lot to keep track of. And maybe, Rebecca, did you want to start with that?
I definitely learned by doing. Yeah. Put your feet in and, go into the fire, and, it's trial by fire. I've spent a lot of time in emerging markets, frontier markets, and actually I do find it kind of refreshing to be in these markets, and I can feel just as home in China and India as I can in Silicon Valley or New York, believe it or not. It sounds weird, I know, but I think that there are things that are cross-border. There are ideas that are cross-border. It's becoming more and more of a city nation, and so Beijing and Shanghai and Silicon Valley and New York and Bangalore are a lot more alike than say Silicon Valley and Des Moines, for instance. So yeah. So you
Des Moines out there.
I hope I didn't. I'm from Ohio originally, so no insult to the
Middle West. Me too.
Okay. But yeah, I think we're living in this global world now today, and there's just so many ideas that cross borders, and so many concepts that cross borders, that you can be at home in places far away. At least that's been my experience.
Well, I would say, except for finding out that I can't put my purse on the floor in Turkey.
And why is that?
Or China.
Well, it's custom. When you go into a restaurant, as I have many times, they bring a chair especially if you've got a lot of women. We put they bring a chair or two for us to put our purses on.
In China, they put it on a chair, and then they put a thing over it, like a wrap.
I really like the chair beside. I think it should be,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I would say, our vision is actually whole woman, whole leader, whole world. All right. And when the women are here and we're spending 6 days in the leadership training program, we're really what I find is that you're really at the level of humanity. Right. The way that you're relating to each other is not really from your cultures. It's more from being human beings and having love for each other and for what the other people are doing. So I think we're lucky that we get to create that kind of an atmosphere in the program, and then we're continuing through our network to foster a global cooperative. So it's by relating to each other really as people. Okay, and maybe that's what's happening when we look at all the cities across. I don't know, but if you relate to people as people, I think a lot of the cultural differences fall away.
And also the internet and social media have helped to instill this and foster it.
Yeah, it's true.
That's something that's pretty new.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've had a few weird experiences. I've eaten a rare turtle egg that had tequila on it once. It was given to me during a business meeting. I've had guinea pig. It's a very similar situation. Had no idea that this was very ceremonial and that you actually needed to eat it and look happy. Which I didn't look happy. I did eat it, but I did not look happy. And there's a lot of things, like in a lot of African countries, you do not hand things with your left hand. You do not even use your left hand. I've never really figured out the rules of eating hands with your food with your hands, because it seems like a free-for-all, but really there's a lot of rules about that. So definitely made a lot of faux pas, but I definitely resonate with what she said. Is I have found that if you are yourself, I had a manager once tell me, I was doing sales for a while, and he said, Bridget, the last thing I want you to do is go to client meetings and lose your personality. He's like, that is why we hired you. Is even though you say things you shouldn't say, and you're loud and you laugh too loud, he's like, it doesn't matter, that's why we hired you. We want you to stay yourself. And that was such good advice. I was quite young, really young at this time. So even in all these meetings, I've had the pleasure of meeting incredibly successful, wealthy, powerful people, and just laughed and had a good time with them. and I'm lucky I work at Google, so they expect me to be a little bit off already. They're like, you wore a red shirt that says Google, and it's a pretty professional meeting. And we're encouraged actually to do that at Google. I'm very lucky to come and sort of be yourself. And I would say no matter who I've met, whatever culture I've been involved in, no matter what their position, I have been able to connect with them if I follow that rule. Like, I'm just genuine. So I think a lot of those faux pas, someone will whisper in your ear and say, Bridget, no one's taking your t-shirts because you keep handing them out with your left. I just thought they were ugly, but apparently not.
And what does guinea pig taste like?
It tastes like hamster cage. Honestly, I had hamsters when I was young, and the whole time I was eating, I was like, my poor little Fifi, because I had a hamster name, yeah. So it tastes like hamster cage, like that wood chip.
Oh, wood chip.
Extra, well, yes, the wood chip that hasn't been cleaned for a while and tastes a little bit like that. So I would not recommend it if I was you.
Oh, all right.
I remember one time when we were in Morocco, we had 12 of us from the Tech Women program, mentors and staff, and then we had at least that many who were with us from Morocco and Algeria who were traveling around to talk to the schools, and we went to orphanages and schools, and we talked to members of parliament and so on while we were there. And we had a very extended breakfast one morning, and we were all at separate tables, and our table got to talking about religion. And this might be a tricky subject in a Muslim country, but I'm Christian, I'm Episcopalian, and I was talking about how when I was 13 I made a decision to take on responsibility for myself and to be confirmed in my religion. And they talked about how when they were 11 or 12 or 14, that they took responsibility for being Muslim and decided to fast during Ramadan, and that it was the same experience. It was a different context, but it was the same experience, and it was the same choice, and it was very personal. It was. I came to understand my faith and take adult responsibility for my faith by expressing it through my family's, my culture's ritual, liturgy, fulfilling an expectation, and they did the same thing. It was just a human way of growing up.
Great, thank you so much.